We actually have two Vios shop cars here. We have a 2017 and we have a 2019 Vios. And the reason why we haven't made a video of that yet is because it's being used every day by Cecil and Vox. Oh. Anyway, we have a 2016 Vios. It's a single VVTi. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be installing headers and Unichip and then tuning it to see how much power we get. Let's get the first thing out of the way. This guy already has a K&N drop-in filter. So if you already have this, you can choose not to change it to an intake with the tube. You can still do it if you want to. It's worth another 2, maybe 3 horses, but this drop-in filter is fine. This filter alone is worth about 2.5 horses. And then the header that we're going to be putting is a short 4-1 header. We've already taken out the stock header, and so this is what the stock header looks like. So as you can see, it's a spindly, payatot looking thing. So it's also a 4-1 design, and the reason why it's a 4-1 design is because of this thing. The O2 sensor has to be here, and it has to sample the gases from all 4 cylinders all at the same time, ideally. And this is the flange where it goes to the rest of the exhaust here. Now, if you want it to be a bolt-on, this is your only option. Bolt-on means that everything installs with nuts, bolts, and with a wrench. We don't cut the exhaust pipe, we don't cut the mid pipe, nothing. If you want a 4-2-1 header, we actually have that also, but that's a video for another day, and that one requires some cutting and welding, unless you get full exhaust. And definitely, it's going to be more expensive than this. This is probably one of the, probably not top 5, but maybe the top 10 questions that I get asked every week. And I have to count it, it's definitely up there. How much magpa-remap ng Vios? Particularly the 3rd gen and 4th gen Vios. The answer is, you cannot remap the Vios. Very simple. Oh, there it is. So you can. And this is, I'll show you the reason why. And we're talking about particularly 2015 and up Vios. Because the 2014 1.5 manual, we can remap that. 2014 1.3, no, cannot remap either. And this is the main reason why. If you can take a look at here, made in the Philippines. This is the sole reason why we cannot remap the Vios. The why is a little bit more complicated. Aside from made in the Philippines, there is a number here, 89661 ODM10. So this basically means it's the serial number of the ECU. Toyota works this way. Every batch of ECU has a unique serial number, so you can probably have 50,000 of this, depending on the. This is only for the Philippines. If they project 50,000 units, there'll be 50,000 of these ECUs with this particular ECU number. The Vioses in Thailand have a different ECU number. The Vioses in Malaysia have a different ECU number. And for Toyotas, you cannot read the data from the chip. You can only write. It's been that way until about 2020. So once again, it's like having a phone. Very simple. Let's take the phone. This is your ECU. The software that I need from here, or the file that I need from here, is the operating system. I have an iPhone. Apple is never going to sell me the iOS, no matter how much I want to pay, no matter how much I ask. It's impossible. And the only way to extract the actual physical iOS from the phone is to take the phone apart, take the A1 chip out, and you need a dedicated chip reader just to grab everything inside the chip. There is a network of ECU hackers that do this for Vioses of other countries like Thailand and Malaysia, because if we sell 10,000 Vioses here in 1 year, they probably sell 10,000 in a month. Their market is times 10 of us. So you have to understand, the guys who crack the ECUs for a living and do this, the product that they have, which is basically the software to tune it and the file inside it, it's not intended for you, the end consumer. No, it's intended for shops like me. Now you see how it makes sense. It is not worth it for them to crack this ECU just to have one single customer in the Philippines, which is me. Because you can't tune a Vios without a dyno either. And how many shops have their own dyno and have their own in-house tuning? Only us here in Speed Lab. So, and it's also not worth my time. I can send this to the guys who will crack it and they'll probably charge me like $10,000. Pass, no thanks. It's not worth it. And as far as we know, there are at least 2 different ECU serial numbers on the Philippines, because first and foremost, this is for a single VVTI. The dual VVTI is also a different ECU number. It's also made in the Philippines. So no, hindi papansinin ng tao yun para i-crack para lang sa Pilipinas. To have only one customer, which is me, Speed Lab. This is why the Vios cannot be remapped. With that out of the way, by the way, it's not just the Vios, it's also the Corolla, then the Altis. Same thing here. The serial number is unique for the Philippine market, and it is not worth it for the ECU hacking community to hack it just for the Philippines. And this is why we have Unichip. This is the only thing that will work to tune the Vios. Single VVTI, dual VVTI for the Altis 1.8, 1.6, 2.0. Not e-manage, not HKS FCON, only Unichip. And we're the only ones who have it. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want your Vios tuned and have more power, you have no choice but to come to me. Aside from the headers, we'll also be installing our Unichip on the Vios. And let's get the big question out of the way. No, you cannot remap the Vios. The reason why is explained in another video, which I'm going to link below. So suffice to say is no, any Vios from 2015 up to the present, you cannot remap. No way, impossible, never going to happen. So even if I tell you to stop asking, people will still ask, so I won't even bother trying. But just in case you guys want to know what makes more power, remap, if it was possible to remap, which will make more power, remap or Unichip, the answer is they both make exactly the same power. How do I know this? Because very simple, the previous Vios, meaning 2008 to about 2012, that can be remapped. And then we've also installed Unichip on that. We've done it back to back. They make exactly the same horsepower. If this engine makes 12 horses on remap, it'll also make 12 horses on Unichip. So power is not an issue. And how do we install the Unichip? It actually consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wires. It's like wiring 2 alarms, so it's not that hard to install. It's going to be installed in the ECU, which is here behind the glove compartment. There you go. There, this is the car's ECU. And one of the reasons why this cannot be remapped is because it's made in the Philippines. It's not made in Thailand or made in Japan. So the ECU serial number that is unique to the Philippines, nobody bothers to hack and crack it. So that's why it cannot be remapped. So for the Unichip, we have first and foremost, we have these two. We have power and we have ground. We have throttle position. We have crank in and out. We have mass airflow in and out. And then we have another ground. So it's actually pretty easy to install. For you guys who are electrical engineers or have some electronics background, we can provide you a wiring diagram. If you're not within Metro Manila, we can send it to you, and then if you know how to solder wires, then you can definitely know how to install Unichip.